right, we finally got a signal here. A signal it is. This is the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. I'm your host, the Pat Man, and we're doing it mobile in my Jeep. Did I say Jeep? I did say Jeep. That's because I'm going to hit up Jeep and see if they want to become a sponsor of the show. That's right. Today we're talking about Cali cannabis. What do you know, and why do you know, and how do you know, and all that good stuff, and what I know. I'll be right back. In the meantime, check out this song I created. It's called Cannabis. It's called Cannabis. Yeah, Cannabis. This is the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. I'm using the live mobile app to do a live podcast. And I want to talk about a subject that's pretty near and dear to my native land of California. California cannabis. What do I know about the California cannabis? Well, a lot, probably more than most. I don't partake in it anymore because I have had some experiences that, it's just not right. But when I was consuming, it was more so on the level 4 medicine that I needed. I experienced muscle spasms, all my life, like a third of my life, since I was, I guess, in my early teens. I started having these muscle spasms, and it would render me totally useless. I couldn't move. I'd be paralyzed almost, and it would just have to go away on its own. And a lot of times that was from overexerting myself, exercises, maybe I worked out a little too much. Maybe I tried to pull off some dance moves that, wasn't, I hadn't practiced, but either way, I would have these muscle spasms, that would go down my back, and it was terrible. I mean, at times, sometimes I couldn't even work for this reason. So at some point, a buddy of mine said, you should try the Mary J1. And I said, yeah, it smells good, but no, I'll pass. And I started studying plant medicine and plant life and herbs and everything, all the herbs, rosemary oil, eucalyptus, tea tree oil, all the benefits of all the plants that we use. Now it's interesting, and I don't want to get off subject, but this plant-based diets, and people now, or companies now saying, yeah, we use plant-based ingredients and blah, blah. Well, here's the thing about that. Most of the things, or most of the ingredients that you use in your products should be plant-based. I mean, when I think about some of the items that I use in my cookie biz, every last ingredient comes from a plant. The ginger root, moringa leaf. Moringa, that's a plant. Turmeric, that's a plant. Or turmeric, however way you want to pronounce it. So unless you're using artificial ingredients, and you've always used artificial ingredients, most of your ingredients in everything should be plant-based. So I'm bringing this up to say that, they're all plants and they all have medicinal properties. And you can check this out yourself, do your own research on plant life and see and check to see some of the benefits that come with some of the natural plants that we use in our cooking every day. Now, when it comes to the marijuana, remember, this stuff has been around longer than we've been on the planet. And, there's ancient history that shows us, it's writings on the wall. Cats were smoking joints, in India and everywhere, all over the planet. Native Americans, consuming that cannabis, consuming that marijuana, for medicinal purposes. So, what I want to say, I got a little thrown off. The music change. This is another song I came up with. It's called Hallelujah. And it's just in time. This is where I do my role. Check out LA Yoga magazine. It's an awesome magazine. And if you're ever at Agape International, you can always pick up a free copy of LA Yoga. I actually met a guy who, I think he's the editor of LA Yoga. I was on a walk in the beach, and we just start out. People always talking to me, so we start talking, and he was saying that he was a yoga magazine, LA Yoga magazine. So I always pick one up whenever I'm visiting Agape. So pick up your local LA Yoga. That's my plug for the day, mid-roll. Anyway, we're talking about cannabis on the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. Here's my take about, and I'm going to just say it. The marijuana, and I know how it's said, but I like saying marijuana because it's funny to me. The marijuana isn't for everyone. And it reacts to everyone's body differently. And body means head, soul, spirit, body itself, from head to toe. It's different for everyone. And so some people need it more than others, and some people don't need it at all. Now, what I've observed is I see people smoking up, like, just smoking, joint, and back in the days, you wouldn't smoke that much weed at a time. I never would see my aunt, just smoking. They would smoke, take a couple of puffs, put it out, come back to it later. But now I see cats smoking. I mean, the whole blunts, that's a lot of weed, man. That's a lot of weed. So you have to think, that was 20, 25, 30 years ago. From what I've gathered in a lot of studying, hands-on, cooking with it, testing out certain strains, it's not the same stuff. The stuff that you're smoking today is not the stuff that it was 30 years ago. And that goes for pretty much like all the food that you might be consuming nowadays. It's not the same food. You're dealing with, pesticides and God knows what else. And you have these scientists and folks saying that, it's just as good, genetics, everything's altered, nothing is grown, naturally anyway. Well, I grew up with blackberries growing wildly in our backyard, and we stayed in apartments. There was fruit trees everywhere, all throughout the neighborhood in Oakland. So this thing about, it's like, why did it go away? There was no reason for any of those fruit trees to go away. But I watched it over time, over a period of time. We're talking about the last 30, 35 years or so. Watch trees being cut, watch the blackberry bushes being torn out and replaced with nothing. And these berries would grow all over Oakland wild. So when you think about, when you hear someone talking about the argument about, genetics is, stuff grown in the labs is just as good for you and nothing is natural, I don't agree with that at all. When it comes to the marijuana, it's like, you don't know what's being put into the marijuana to make it so damn strong. And my thing is, if you don't know, you don't know. My advice, like, if this is something you want to partake in and you haven't and you're thinking about it, grow your own stuff. Just like fruits and vegetables, tomatoes, parsley, anything you want to grow and eat and consume, grow it yourself. Remember, I've been here for a while. I've been on the planet for a while. I feel like I've been here thousands of years, literally. Even till this day, my grandmother grows her own fruits and vegetables. She would grow them then. And this ideal of a supermarket, people only went to supermarkets. Supermarkets only came about in the past 20, 30 years or so. You had, little markets like, Trader Joe's that weren't as popular. Whole Foods wasn't a thing. So this demand, they created a demand. That's what they did. They chopped down all the orange groves and trees and whatnot that used to grow naturally. And it's like, you know what? Let's take this away. Let's get rid of all the farmers. We're going to agriculture this, and we're going to, make people pay. I went to the store the other day. I know I'm getting off subject. But I went to the store the other day, and they're charging $2 for a lemon. A lemon. I used to hop the fence right over at neighbor Vic's house and grab me quite a few lemons. And they were big. They were humongous. They would grow because the sun was feeding them, and you could pick them and you make lemonade. I mean, so I'm saying get back to growing your own stuff. Get into permaculture. Look, if you go to the local, I'm not going to mention the store name, but if you go to the local hardware store and you talk to the garden section and, one of the clerks in the garden area, and you tell them what you're trying to do, they're going to tell you what soil to buy, what pots to buy. And it's really that easy. Think of it as your pet. You want to take care of your plant. You want to grow something that's good. Same thing for the marijuana. You're going to put what you feel is beneficial for you. All this putting chemicals and whatnot and God knows what into the soil to make it grow. Outdoor is probably the best, but then you have to deal with every pest and animal that wants a piece of that. And why wouldn't they? Come on. But indoors is not as easy. And so I get the whole, regulation, cultivation, and especially with the indoor grows, because you just don't know what you're getting, and you got to be careful. You can mess yourself up really bad. And as far as medicine is concerned, check out with your doc. Make sure you're all good first before you start, smoking something you don't know what you're smoking. You know what I mean? It's got to be smart, people. You got to be intelligent. This is the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network. I'm your host, the Pat Man. And if I gave you just a little bit of insight, just think twice about what you're consuming, whether it's marijuana, whether it's fruits and vegetables. Go to the farmers markets, talk to those guys, ask them what they do to grow the fruits and vegetables and what's, with their vegetables. Start asking more questions. Question everything that goes into your body, that goes on your body. That's from the clothes you wear. Yeah, this rabbit hole just keeps going. You can't say, oh, I'm smoking because it's healthy and you're eating crap food. Come on, let's be real, people. So, I'm the Pat Man from Oakland, from the Bay to LA and beyond. This has been the Intelligent Human Voice Podcast Network, jamming in LA. Actually, I'm in Culver City. It's a beautiful sunset. That's the tree that you see in the picture. Peace, love, soul, always, and all that good stuff. All right? Peace.